Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Department of Science and Environmental Studies, the Education University of Hong Kong. I'm Eric Tsang, the head of the department. Today, me and my colleague Frank will share with you our experience on developing a sustainable campus in our university. The title of our seminar will be Sustainable Campus Development in our Education University of Hong Kong, from Theory to Practice. Now, here's our outline. First of all, I shall be talking about the philosophy and design behind our sustainable campus development. And then Frank will talk about our implementation details and then a little summary. Now, everything starts with a philosophy. Our philosophy is based on the 5 capitals approach. And as the 5 capitals, what does it mean? Now, the first capital will be the natural capital, our air, our water, and so on, our natural resources, basically. And then there will be our social capital. And then is the manufactured capital or built capital, and then financial capital, and then the human capital. What does all these mean? Human capital means capacity building or education of the area or the campus users. Financial capital, as the name implies, involves money. And it also implies that we have to design some energy saving processes that will save us money. Manufactured capital involves all the buildings and all the facilities around the campus and the management of these capitals. And then the social capital will be on human resources management and our connection with the society and so on. Now, how do we build a sustainable campus based on this philosophy? Now, basically, in this model, we are managing the various capitals independently, but also we would consider the mutual interaction between these capitals as well. So this is the basic approach. Well, how do we manage these 5 capitals? So we manage these 5 capitals under the broad umbrella of sustainable development or sustainability. So which means we will apply our sustainability principle in ironing out a strategy for managing these capitals. Now, as far as we can, we will take a strong sustainability approach. That is, we will follow the hierarchy of avoid, and then minimize or compensate in that order, which means in managing all these capitals, we'll try our very best to avoid the impacts. If we cannot avoid all impacts, we'll minimize these impacts. And then if we can't do that, then we will compensate. And in our development, we'll try our very best to avoid compensate, of course. Now, everything goes well. After implementation, we will try to develop a reporting system. Now, this reporting system in the next 2 years, we'll spend our effort in developing a reporting system for our university based on the Global Reporting Initiative, a common initiative used by a lot of institutions around the world called GRI standards. Now, there's an old version of this standard called G4. And then this new one is not a G5. Instead, this is an enhanced or modified G4. And in this reporting system, next slide. It's based on a modular system. We have 3 universal modules and then 3 independent modules based on social, environmental, and then the economic dimension. Now, institutions in joining this reporting system will have to report on all these modules. They would have to state their strategy and then report their findings and then provide evidence on their findings. There won't be a rating after finishing all this reporting. Instead, if you satisfy all the requirements, they will give you a statement like completed. you won't get a rating or ranking, as different from the G4 system, which involves a rating in there. Now, this is all I have to report for now, and Frank will share with you our implementation of these principles in the Education University of Hong Kong. I'll pass on to Frank.
Okay, hello. This is Frank Cheang from the same department as Professor Tsang. Okay, so for my part, I will talk about implementation. So if we need to implement the Sustainable Campus project, and in fact, at the first place, we have to know what is meant by Sustainable Campus Initiative. Okay, this initiative, in fact, has been shared, promoted, or advocated in the university all around the world, and basically it adopts idea of the sustainable developments, and in fact the three major pillars, namely the environmental, social, and economics pillars. Okay, so in every single decisions in terms of planning or operation for the campus, we the universities, okay, they have to consider, okay, the sustainabilities in all these three aspects. So practically, what we need to do to maintain a more sustainable campus, I have summarized 12 steps, okay, that could be some sort of guides, okay, for how universities or even a school can be transformed into a sustainable campus. So for the first one, for sure, it is on the teaching and research. Just imagine that in the teaching or educations within the university or school, if we can incorporate more knowledge or skills about environmental problems, environmental issues, or sustainable development, this kind of issue into the content, for sure, the students will learn more about it, right? And also, if we can, in particular for the universities, okay, if we can regard this kind of sustainable campus as a research subject or research candidates, okay, and carry out some research and to find out how we can have a more sustainable campus, this all the effort would for sure, okay, contribute to a more sustainable campus. So other than this kind of key task, okay, in the universities or in the schools for the teachings and research, green purchasing or any green measures that is related to the administration is also a way, okay, to transforming the campus into a sustainable campus. For example, the policy in the recycling papers, the policy on the reusable papers, okay. And for the other step is the solid waste reduction and recycling. We are not just talking about to establish the recycling system, okay, in the school, because in fact it has been implemented in the society as well. But also, just like the case that I would like to introduce to you, I got some colleagues, okay, who have designed and made, okay, a teaching package which will teach the students or the general public about how we can sort and recycle the plastic. I'm not sure whether you know it. In fact, we have different kinds of plastic, and then it has been indicated, okay, in the product usually, okay. So propagating this message or incorporate it into some educational material will greatly, or a correct sorting of this kind of plastic will greatly facilitate the whole plastic recycling process. Okay, so this is some of the steps we can consider when we would like to have a more sustainable campus. Other than some materials, we also will look at the energy. Okay, for example, energy conservation, which can be as simple as just like the switching off the light when there is no one in the room. Okay, this could help for to become more environmental friendly for your campus. And for sure, if we can have some sort of improvement in the energy consumption efficiency. For example, we buy some accredited electric equipment, okay, which with, for example, energy labels, right? Or even just like what I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes, the eco garden. In the eco garden, we have some renewable energy source, okay, which can also help with the whole energy consumption, okay, by the universities buildings, okay. So other than energy, and we also can talk about the water and wastewater management, okay. For example, whether we have any facilities to sort of collect the rainwaters, okay, collect the rainfall, and then recycle it or we use it, okay. This could be some steps that we can consider. The other steps that also could be very important, for example, the hazardous waste, okay, especially for universities, because if the universities process faculty of science or engineering, and many of the time, in fact, they have to do some experiment and which will involve this kind of different chemicals, and it could be have some sort of potential hazard, okay. So whether we have a proper storage method or how we can dispose it, it should be treated or under certain policy, okay, certain proper management, okay. So for the transportation, for example, whether we will promote public transportations, okay, or even bring out idea of the walkable city, okay, or walkable campus, okay. Okay, I know that many of the campus in Hong Kong is not that easy. It's not that easy to walk, okay, because it's quite far away, okay. But anyway, it could be one of the aspects that we can think of. Okay, for the food and food surface, okay, we can also consider whether we can become more green, okay. Our university is a part of the effort in promoting the Green Monday, okay, which is NGO promoting the vegetarian diet in on Monday, okay, just one day, okay, of the week, okay. But this could somehow help or facilitate the reduction of the greenhouse effect emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, I mean. So for the other steps, which is mostly related to the campus development, for example, any the land use, any new constructions, or even the whole planning of the campus or whole design of the campus, okay. If we want to become a more sustainable campus, we can also think about, okay, how we can do it in these aspects. For example, in education university, we will establish a new building, okay. It's still now in the designing stage and consultation stage, but we have already consult our estate office, have already consult relevant experts, and also gather the opinions from various stakeholders, including us, the campus user, okay, in how we can make the whole building become more sustainable, okay, or support the sustainable initiative. So for example, what is the energy consumption improving or efficiency improving steps, okay, or how much of the area can be greened, okay. These are some of the measures that we can take into consideration when we are trying to build new buildings, okay. So here I would like to introduce an examples on how we can make a good use of the land inside the campus, okay. It is a project that we have run, okay, which is called ecological garden. In short, we call it eco garden, okay. In 2015 or 16, okay. In fact, our university received the funding from UGC, okay, from the government anyway, okay, to sort of establish an eco garden. And this eco garden, we regard it as a physical base, okay, are really based physically, okay, and also a pedagogical tools in showcasing the sustainability and promote the associated education. And also we regard it as a model that could emphasize the field-based learning, although it is we call it technically called a built environment. maybe it's not the comparable to the natural environment, but even you have just a visit there in that garden. In fact, it could be quite beneficial in the learning, okay, because it is somehow semi-field based learning, okay, when compared to the classroom, the learning in the classroom, okay. And also the eco garden, we have missions, okay. We hope that we can accomplish our global environmental commitment through the relevant research studies and educational program that we produce associating with the eco garden, okay. And this is the photo showing what you can see now, okay, in the eco garden. But in fact, in the past, it's something like this. It is originally a so-called temporary storage pool or tank, okay, for the surface runoff. That means if it's heavy rain, it serves as a reservoir or temporary reservoir to sort of prevent the landslides in this area. As you can imagine, this area may not be always filled with water, okay? And so as you can see, in fact, it is somehow like an abundant garden in the past. So we take the initiative and we hope that it can transform it into an eco garden, which it itself can help us to conserve the biodiversity, and as well as educational tools or the pedagogical tools. So you can see that we try to add some new things in it, but there is a performance, okay, here. And we have discussed for quite a long time whether we should take it out, get rid of it, okay? But eventually we think that along with the environmental or sustainability idea, okay, we think that this performance is still okay and have a good looking. So what we choose finally is to renovate, okay, this whole the environment instead of really completely destroy it and then establish a new one, okay. So you can see that more or less is similar to the old appearance of the garden, but in fact we have introduced a lot of new things. So to let you have a better understanding, I would like to show a video, okay, introducing the eco garden.
你知唔知道喺香港教育大學入面有一個神秘嘅主題樂園 Eco Garden 生態園？等我哋帶你參觀下入面有咩得意嘢玩先。喺呢個生態園入面住咗好多位唔同嘅明星，等我逐一同你哋介紹下啦。大家好，我係蝴蝶小姐，係呢個園區嘅大明星。呢度就係我可愛嘅屋企蝴蝶園啦。呢度種植咗唔同嘅寄主植物同蜜源植物。等我哋有5星級嘅享受，喺呢度你仲可以見到唔同嘅蝴蝶同成長中嘅幼蟲，大家都好 enjoy 呢度嘅生活㗎。仲有我哋平時成日去嘅地方雨水花園。花園嘅設計除咗可以將雨水儲起，減低渠道負荷，避免氾濫之外，仲可以形成緩衝區，等雨水滲入地下，灌溉植物。除咗我哋之外，我哋嘅朋友雀仔小姐都會成日嚟呢度㗎。除咗呢幾個地方，觀賞池同生態池都住咗好多我嘅朋友，例如有青蛙、蜻蜓同埋豆娘。而設有水車嘅觀賞池，仲會喺初夏期間開滿荷花同埋睡蓮等等唔同嘅水生植物，到時景象係非常之靚㗎。旁邊呢個就係魚菜共生區。等我交俾住喺嗰度嘅朋友青蛙先生講解下先。魚菜共生區主要由生態池、人造濕地同梯田組成。呢個系統除咗為我同屋企人提供一個棲息地之外，仲可以透過微生物將我哋同魚嘅排泄物轉化成喺濕地同梯田中生長嘅植物所需嘅養分，而植物佢哋又會淨化水源，從而達到共生效果。喺梯田旁邊嘅香草螺旋塔，利用重力設計出唔同嘅物理環境，令我哋可以喺同一個空間種植唔同類型嘅香草。嚟到呢度，各位遊客一定要用你嘅嗅覺去感受一下大自然啦！咦，呢度又係邊度嚟㗎？咁多高科技產品嘅？冇錯啦，呢度就係我哋嘅明日世界。整個園區入面嘅照明系統就係透過呢啲太陽能板同呢個特別嘅垂直風力系統發電㗎。 嗰邊有咩聲啊？係我哋生態園嘅動物聲音大匯演啊！喺生態園入面住咗好多唔同嘅物種，佢哋都有獨特嘅聲音。不如一齊嚟發掘下佢哋啊！可能你會有意想不到嘅收穫。